Today we're going to talk about what are the two rarest modern engines that I own. That and more coming up. So two engines that I believe for me are the rarest, RaReR, or harder to find engines, mostly just because they were made in the later years of MTH, right before the 2020 craziness and was MTH shutting down or whatever. That would be these two NS AC44C6Ms. So I have 4017, which is the standard black and white horsehead logo NS, and then 4004, which is one of the very first of the AC44C6M rebuilds. You might hear me reference C6M for shorthand throughout the video. That's what I mean, AC44C6M. I just call them C6Ms. But 4004 was one of the very first ones. They did some really cool paint schemes. 4000 and 4001 were blue with the white whiskers and the gold mane, or gold outline to the blue mane to the gray. And then I think it was 4003 or 4002, 4003 were the black with the blue in the mane, and then 4004 and 4005 were black. Now 4004 actually came to me via a trade to a guy that I've done some weathering for, and we've done some other trades in the past, and I was super excited to get it. And in typical fashion for me, when you finally find something, when it rains it pours, and the 4017 showed up not long after. I was actually on the phone with our really good buddy Tom, and I was just happened to be perusing eBay, and I was looking at the same time that this one had popped up. And with talking to him on the phone, he was like, you know, you're not going to see it again for a while. It's not a crazy Brad Martz price, so you might want to go ahead and jump on it. So I did what any of us good trade enthusiasts do. I made the excuse of, my birthday's coming up, I'll buy myself a birthday present. There it is. I bought myself a birthday gift. So, and speaking of birthdays real quick, I have to give a huge shout out to our good buddy Tom. He had snuck this car into a box of things that I had got coming from him, and it was the surprise for my birthday. So super huge shout out to him. The car came out awesome. I think it's sweet. The patch with initials and some things like that to make my own little custom leasing company, and my birthday as the reporting mark numbers is awesome, and a little bit of graffiti. So again, huge thanks to Tom for that, man. That was pretty sweet. So I guess my 30th birthday present to me was this engine here, and super excited to have the pair. I think that the black with the blue on the main is absolutely amazing, and me being kind of a purist, you got to have the plain and white black NS, and I think it's just a good pair. Eventually I'd like to find fixed pilots, but I'm going to wait for parts to come available or things that come up for that. I'm not going to do anything crazy because I think these engines deserve to be done correctly. So a little bit of history on the NS AC44C6M, or C6M that I kind of call it in shorthand. NS started rebuilding them in Juniata or in Altoona or Juniata shops back in the fall of 2015. Crazy to think those engines are now already 10 years old into the rebuilds. So far they have built almost 1,000 of them from based off what I can see on research. I know that several of them from this most recent rebuild, NS never actually took delivery of them, and they are now actually sold off to Ferromex, and some of them are already actually being repainted, but that's a whole other side story. But as far as their more modern rebuilds of older locomotives, the C6Ms have been extremely successful. They were rebuilt from older Dash 9 standard cab engines and the wide cab engines that NS had a plethora of, as well as recently they have rebuilt some AC4400s into the AC44C6Ms. Those are the ones that have been never were taken delivery of, went to Ferromex. They were rebuilt, and the major differences between a Dash 9 and the AC44C6M were they were converted from DC to AC traction. They got a different cab, a newer front hood section, and a new inverter cabinet, which is the more longer inverter cabinet that you see on the AC4400s, kind of in place of where you would see the AC unit on Dash 9 wide cabs. Other than that, they pretty much retain most of the frame, side frames, fuel tank, and then the rear section of the hood, all is retained from the Dash 9s. But overall, they've been a very successful rebuild for Norfolk Southern, as opposed to some of their like the Dash 8.5s, the ST70 ACUs, and some other things like that. The AC44C6M have been extremely successful, and odds are, if you live anywhere near Norfolk Southern mainline, you see one of these every day and multiples of them leading the train. So let's go ahead and pop these things down on the layout and get a closer look at them. So up first here, we do have NS4004. This is, like I said earlier, this is one of the very first rebuild programs where they had this more unique paint scheme, and this does have the blue stripe on the edge of the main. I have since, when I got it, I have put the more appropriate NS snowplow on it, and obviously switched it over to Katie's. As I said earlier, I do plan to eventually make it fixed pilot, but we'll see if I can ever actually find the pilots. And directly behind here, where you can see, and I will zoom in what I was speaking about to the inverter cabinet, this area right here, right behind the cab where the main is on the top of the walkway, is the more modern or newer inverter cabinet they got it. This is where the AC unit would have been placed on a Dash 9 that it was rebuilt from. And it obviously has PTC and has the really kind of throwbacky to Conrail DC to AC conversion logo on it there. So I was really excited to be able to get this one, and when it was offered to me as a trade, I couldn't pass it up, so I went ahead and had to jump on it. I do enjoy the fact that it has the PTC on it, and I do really hope MTH will rerun these. They obviously did AC4400s here recently, and these were not reoffered again. So hopefully that is an option going forward. Not sure I would get another one of the earlier paint schemes like this one, but I wouldn't be opposed to one or two more of the standard black ones. And here is the standard issue black and white NS Horsehead logo C6M. This is the one brought to you by Bad Influence from a good friend, Tom. As I said, I mean, we were on the phone when I saw it, sent it to him, and he was like, dude, you got to buy it. There's no way around it. They don't show up. The guy was asking a very fair price. It wasn't, one of the eBay scalper prices. So I went ahead and jumped on it. And as I said, I used it as it's my birthday. I'll buy it for my birthday. So that's how I ended up with it. I'm not 100% sure it'll ever actually be weathered. I don't think I can weather this one. For the timeline that I kind of like to, I guess, loosely model for NS, this one wouldn't actually be super dirty. I might do some dusting on the trucks or something once I finally get pilots for them, but I think they're just too good looking of engines to weather heavily like I have my other stuff. But I think these complement really well to the Dash 9 that I have and the Dash 9 that's coming from Atlas. Obviously, I have a thing for GE wide cab, so this GE/Wabtec definitely fits into the collection in that sense. But let's go ahead and get these two thrown into a lash up and get them run around the layout. Now, real quick before we get these things running around, the one thing I wanted to note, obviously I'm pretty big into realism and being prototypical and things like that. So I thought it was pretty neat that when the 4017 C6M came available, I did some looking up the road numbers and actually did find some photos that I will place up here right now of these two actual engines running together in real life, pulling trains, being in yards. So running it with 4004 leading and 4017 trailing is actually prototypical. So another one of those cool little tie-ins.